So I was wondering if you had advice for people on how to take situations that are really terrible and end up taking that situation and not being resentful when you leave it, not being angry and not being a victim.
Right. I mean, I've always sort of had a pretty good grasp on a very long view, meaning the pretty quickly, even in the middle of long enduring crises, I kind of know or believe in the back of my mind and in my heart that, okay, this is going to pass. I have hope that this is going to pass. You know what? And if you come out of it with, you know, a broken leg, well, then you're going to have a new style of walking, and let's have a cool limp. I don't know. Just, you know, it's part of that tool of when faced with the inevitable, get relative. You know, I'm all for, and you see in the book, things that I'll break a sweat and go to work on something to change my predicament. But there's certain things that as soon as I'm like, okay, this is inevitable, okay, COVID. Well, okay, how do we get relative with that? How can I find the assets of this time? Again, not denying that it's tragic and awkward for a lot of people in ways that it's not tragic for me. Not denying that, but just going, okay, well, I've got a 7 months to a year or even longer that my kids are always going to remember where they lived with their grandmother every single day. There's value in that. Oh, my kids doubled down on their creative hobbies because they weren't going to school. Oh, we sat down for 2 meals a day and said our gratitude before prayers. We used to do that maybe once a day. Now we're doing it twice. So I'm trying to go, those are real. Those things are real. And they don't disclaim the crisis. And I think maybe that's called having some hope. I have things in there where people go, well, you were a victim. You were a victim of abuse, Matthew. You were molested. You were blackmailed in your first sex. Yes. But there's a difference in me saying I'm a victim or going, yes, on paper, I'm a victim, and then saying, but I have chosen to feel victimized or ever did choose to feel victimized. And again, there's a line. Our family's greatest sort of trait, one of the greatest traits in our family is we were taught resilience. All right. You get up, you dust yourself off, you look at a problem, this problem, you work through it. Now that's great. And it's been one of my greatest traits. But I also learned this thing. If we are too resilient and we just hop back up every time we step in our proverbial pothole and fall down, and every time we just get up and dust ourselves off, well, we become repeat offenders. We keep stepping in that pothole and we never have any retrospective look and go, well, why am I doing that every single time? So I always joke with my mom, and she's the one who preaches the golden rule on us. Do unto others, do what I'm doing to you. I was like, that's a great one, Mom, but it has a loophole. Not everyone wants to do what you want to do, and some things that tickle us kind of bruise others. So we got to have a little context. And it wasn't until I was that year in Australia, which was my forced winter, when I was forced to look inward, because I was always brought up for 18 years of every day is summertime, even if it's thunder and you see the rose in the vase instead of the dust on the table. Oh yeah, you're bitching about no shoes. Let me show you the kid with no feet. It was just like always thrown, like you just blow by it. That's a form of catching some green lights because you blow through the reds even. But it also can lean, if you do it too much, it can lean into denial. And obviously, we don't grow or evolve. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can end up hurting yourself.
Yeah.